How hard could it be?
We definitely can do this. How hard could it be?
Hey, how hard could it be?
How hard could it really be? Yeah, you were just saying, though, that you wish you could work for 12 hours a day for a month and see where it gets you rather than having to keep it to 8 hours. I don't know. I'm curious what your days are like, but I feel you on that.
Yeah, they're 8 hours when when I can, you know, it's it's tough. My wife works just as hard a job as me, and you're probably the same way, but it's like I feel bad going home because there's work to be done,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we pay all the bills. But then there's also like, I feel bad being here because I know she's exhausted and she needs some help. So it's like
Yeah.
it's a real tightrope walk, you
Is
know?
she home with the kids?
Yeah. She's a
Yeah.
stay-at-home mom.
Cool.
The twins don't go to daycare, and the older girl goes for 3 half days a week. So
Cool. Yeah,
yeah,
my wife's official last day was 2 weeks ago, and she had been on maternity for 4 or 5 months, or 3 or 4 months, whatever that was. But it's a different mindset now. I don't want to say it's pressure. I feel the same as I did, but yeah, this thing is. And my wife's actually at home sewing sweatshirts right now because we have a deadline, and she's very talented. We got a serger on the front porch, and she's working in the family business.
that's so sick, dude.
But yeah, I feel you. It's hard to. You always feel like you are leaving early from somewhere or not where you're
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Yeah, that's maybe even the hardest part is that, yeah, because I guess that's what I meant by the 12-hour days is like, you're the same way. Where like, I get like, some people call it like being a workaholic, but just like, I just love this. I love doing this shit. It's like, it's very, very difficult, but that's what makes it rewarding.
Hmm.
And yeah, like I'd love to be like, I've got buddies who, they travel for work and they're away for like, days at a time. And, you could get so much done, but I'd rather, my dad was always the kind of guy who like, he left work early to come and be at all my games and all my practices. So like, I kind of feel obligated to get my daughter to jujitsu whenever she needs to. So
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That was always a priority at my house. Was
yeah,
just like you work your butt off and you do what you got to do, but doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the kids and
yeah,
the family are more important. And my parents never missed a single sports game, and I plan to be the same way. So
yeah, man.
assuming my kids hopefully want to play sports, I sure am hopeful.
Yeah. I'm luckily my kids seem to enjoy sports. Like when I bring the gear out in the backyard, or my daughter loves jujitsu and gymnastics, and she didn't love soccer, but we'll see. We'll give it another chance. See if she likes it later on.
Yeah. When we were having our first kid, my father-in-law said to me once, he's like, "You got to be prepared because I know you're competitive and you're an athlete. Your kids might not be, and that's a hard pill to swallow, but you got to be ready for it." We had a good laugh about that. But that's real. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely not prepared for that. I do assume that my son will love the sports that I loved. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I,
it's
I'm a hockey
I
player, so if I get my kids to love
yeah.
my sport, I'm going to be, I need to make more money.
I know. I was a lacrosse guy, so it's the same. It's the
Nice.
same sport.
You
And
play as an adult at
yeah,
all? Lacrosse is a little harder, I feel
I'm
like,
in
to
men's
have
league.
adult
I'm in
league.
like a 30 and older men's league, and
Really?
everything hurts. Yeah, those
Man.
we won our league this year. I played pretty well. But the day after the games, I am so destroyed. I can't even. I could like barely
I
get out of bed. I'm not even that old. I'm like I just turned 36, and it's like it's pretty incredible how messed up you can get.
uh, I play in a men's over 30 hockey league, and there's 50, 60, 70-year-old guys there. But they do it 3 times a week, so they're good. They're able to keep doing it. But we don't have lacrosse
Yeah.
here for adults that I know of. I wish we did. I played for 3 years in middle school, and
Is that right?
I haven't played since.
Yeah, do we Detroit Mercy was in our conference in college, so I had to come to Detroit and play
Mm, nice.
every other year. So I came there 2 times, and
That
they
that was
were
our
they were
only
tough
varsity
motherfuckers.
lacrosse team in the state. Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, you were in for a fight. Yeah, it got serious there. Yeah.
What school did you go to?
I went to Marist.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's up
Did
in
not know
Poughkeepsie,
that.
New York. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we were all right.
It's who cares? You got to play. I would have given anything to play college sports. Like actually play, not just
Yeah.
intramural. That's very cool.
Yeah. I was
Nice.
a bit of a shithead in college and didn't apply myself as much as I should have. I partied harder than I should have. It's a big regret of mine.
Yeah. You ended up all right. You're in
Yeah,
an okay
yeah.
place.
Yeah, we did. For sure.
Yeah. Cool.
How's the factory running? Dude,
It's running.
I see your setup. You're like, yours is so clean and organized, and you've got your pods set up and you've got your electrical running smooth, and like mine is just so slapped together. And it's working. This is the first week, dude. This is the first week where things seem to be working smoothly, and
Wow.
it's really I feel like
Does that feel great?
a weight has been like, taken off my shoulders, and things are working pretty great. It was cutting day today for the first style that I patterned. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. But I look at your setup and like you've got the crazy long table and that nice
Yeah.
spreader, and man, one
Well,
day.
this is our third factory since my parents' basement. This is the third place we've been in.
Okay.
And when we first moved from my parents' basement, we had 4 machines in this table, which I bought all used from a guy in Detroit. And we used to run orange extension cords and have like a splitter on the end, and every machine was plugged into one extension cord.
You're talking my language, man. That's where I'm at.
That's what I picture when you say that. But yeah,
Yep.
every time you move, or in your case, like if you're staying there for the short term, you'll start to blow
Yeah.
enough fuses that you realize, hey, I should pay an electrician to run a second line. Or do you guys
Yeah.
have 220 machines or 110?
We have two 220 machines, and I had an electrician come in and basically like run another 110 circuit. So I have 2 110 circuits and I have 1 220 circuit. And we just we're never running the 220 machines at the same time, so we just kept them near. We just unplug and plug the other one back in. But it'd be really nice to you have the like electric bus system like coming from the ceiling, or you just have oh no, you have drops.
We have drops. We don't have bus bars. We used to move our floor around a lot depending on what we were making, but now one of the people on my team is a whiz and put together this megapod that no matter what product we make, it flows like perfectly throughout, and we don't have to but that was just years of playing with it and figuring it out, and we actually could have gotten bus bars now for this place, but we weren't there yet at the time.
Yeah.
But
I do imagine
go ahead.
I do imagine like, we have maybe another 2.5 years on this, or no, a year and a half. It was only a 2-year lease. So in another year and a half, hopefully we're in a good spot, and maybe we can, get our own building that we can build out. That I just imagine a day where it's just like planned and put together properly, and you have your pods, or your line that, yeah, I imagine a day where one day like it could run very, very smoothly. Right now it's like not optimized, although it's getting better. But yeah, not coming from manufacturing, like we are kind of reinventing the wheel every day. It's
Yeah, but you come at it with fresh eyes, someone.
Yeah.
I've talked to people that, or been in sewing factories that people know it, and sometimes you look at their setup and like, sure, that works, but the way we're doing it is just as good or better, and we just got there on our own. And then sometimes I look around and like, what are we doing? This is clearly horrible, and someone else from another factory, I think I told you this last time, talked to us about putting tissue paper between plies of fabric. Did we talk about that?
Yeah.
So stuff like that, like that's such a simple solution that sometimes you do need someone else to just point it out, and it's very glaring that you could have done differently, but you make it through either way.
What did he tell you again? You put a layer of tissue every how many plies?
So what the problem we were having is I think basically there was a roll of fabric on a lot that we received that had some trace polyester in it, which we didn't order. But when we cut the garment, we sent them to garment dye, and the front panel turned out different color than the sleeves, and some of the sleeves were different. Like some of the garments weren't dyeing consistently. And so what we were talking about, I called another factory owner, and she said, every roll of fabric you use, put a roll of tissue paper in between it, so that, and then also every facing, like if you're doing 2 mediums, call one facing 1 and facing 2. That way, when the sewing team is pulling from it, they only know they're pulling the top section above the tissue paper on marker or facing 1, so that all of those things will have come from the same roll. And then work your way through that, and then go on to facing 2, and then work your way in the same order, so that every garment will be consistent, even if something weird like that does happen on occasion.
So as you're spreading, you don't put tissue in between as you use the same roll, but then when you
Yep.
finish a roll and you go to a new roll, you lay down tissue paper.
Yep. And she said they even go as far as to color code it, I think. So that I think they're putting like 4 different colors of tissue paper. And so if someone's sewing, 1,000 sweatshirts, they know I'm pulling medium facing 1 blue, medium 1 green, medium 1 pink. And that way all 4 pieces, sleeve, front, back, are all coming from that same exact thing.
Right.
And I would assume you don't have to worry about that from a garment dye standpoint, but also you never know. Like, there is value in keeping the rolls consistent. And
Yeah.
so yeah, just like that seems like a very easy system, and we've since implemented it. But until someone pointed it out to us, you get by.
Yeah. Yeah. We are planning on doing some garment dyeing, not in the next line, but the line after that comes around like New Year's. So that will be that will be important. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how
Yep.
many rolls well, actually we will be getting a lot of rolls because it's selvage.
Yeah, you're gonna be burning through it.
That's a little bit thinner. It's like only a 50-inch, instead of like a 60-inch roll. So we probably will have a bunch of rolls.
Yeah. Well, we should talk about garment dyeing. I know you and I were texting about that briefly, just about
Yeah.
how that works. So what was your experience with garment dyeing, and how did it pan out that you want to improve for next time?
Well, we only ever garment dyed a couple things, like, and they've all just been cut and sewn knits, like t-shirts and crew necks from you. And it's just expensive, like if, especially if you're not running and then you responded that there's like a like almost not a break even point, but there's like a maximized efficiency, like weight. And we just don't usually hit that weight. But then you also suggested to, add other garments, which is smart to round out a collection. And so now we have a plan, to run some pants and some hoodies, um, at the same time to get to
Cool.
that weight limit. And then the hoodies and the pants they'll dye slightly differently, but like the tonality of that will probably be really nice, throughout a collections. Yeah, really great
Yeah.
idea. And we're just we're gonna try it again, because it's like it's a reality of, just like the American fabric supply, which is like what what I've come to realize is that is the sticking point. Like that is the
Yeah.
part about American manufacturing, especially like for a full collection, like in-house manufacturer like us, is I can find gray goods. I can find PFD like all day, like wherever I really want to go, I can find good fabric that's just, natural.
And yeah, what are gray goods for people that don't know?
It's just undyed, sometimes like it treated so that it's prepared to be dyed, fabric, where it's like off white, or like sometimes it's like bleached white, but it's mostly just like undyed goods. So we deal mostly in cotton, so it's just like that natural cotton, off white, yellowy color. We can get that in like just about everything we need. Like there's fabric mills in California, there's fabric mills in Pennsylvania, and all over, where we can get, undyed fabric. But then to like, nobody really piece dyes fabric, that, or at least not at the quantity that we buy in. And then you also don't want to, like, we're also not at the scale to where we can get custom yarn dyed fabric, because often that's 500 meters to 1,000 meters of a minimum order. And like for our small production runs, like that really doesn't make much sense unless it's something that we can like program, into like something that we keep forever, like a evergreen style that we just keep reproducing, which is not many of our styles yet. And then like the thing that is possible is garment dyeing, but garment dyeing also has minimums. Everything has minimums where we need to hit that minimum. Otherwise it's just like adds, it can add up to $15 a garment if you're not hitting those that weight that you were talking about per
Yeah,
color.
that
That's like
was.
yeah, go ahead.
You can go ahead and finish. I was gonna jump in with more on
Well, I
that.
was just going to say, like, in terms of like manufacturing in America, it's so frustrating that there aren't like we are kind of forced to go overseas for fabric, specifically to Japan, where they have mills. They have, a dozen, 20 different mills where they all just like they take a swing and they make a seasonal collection of fabrics, like where you get a swatch book and there's 20 different colors and you can order a roll, you can order 2 rolls of a fabric in a certain color, or like or they'll have colors that, are evergreen and they just like always carry a certain amount of colors. And then every season they'll do their trend forecasting and they'll put out a collection of seasonal colors in a particular, it could be plaids, it could be solids, it could be stripes. And it's like, it's so convenient and nice to be able to buy 1 roll, 2 rolls of a color so that you can offer 2 or 3 colors in a style in a season. But like nobody does that in America. It's like, so you just have to order,
Got to hit the minimum.
yeah, you got to hit the minimum for custom production or for garment dyeing or for, yeah, it's just, that's like the one part that just nobody's figured out yet. The fact that there's not a mill or a dozen mills that all put out like a kind of like a collection of fabrics every year is like frustrating.
I hear you. That
Yeah.
was where we were at from the beginning. Was we were at the mercy of the few in stock colors: black, white, navy, heather
Right.
gray, which are great.
Yeah.
But for navy, for example, we were buying like a really deep navy, and then the mill changed it to navy blazer, which is fine. But we ordered the same navy, and it came in a different color, and then nobody wanted that color, and then we got stuck with all this navy fabric. And for us, the huge unlock was figuring out garment dye, and even that journey was difficult. Like there's only a few of them that I know of still. There's maybe 4, and they're hard to communicate with sometimes. They're hard to get, they're so busy. They're not always looking for some new guy that's trying to give them small volume. And we got lucky to get some intros.
Yeah.
One of
That's
them
the
actually
American
closed
sport.
down.
Oh
The,
shit.
I think I told you briefly about this, but we actually were going to Philly back and forth, and we were trained by this guy, Bill,
Yeah.
who ran Bennett Dyers, and he was teaching us how to dye. And I actually bought his formulas. I have all these beautiful color formulas. I'll have to show you that sometime. There's like
Yeah. I would
thousands
love
of
it.
formulas of every color he ever dyed in 40 years. And didn't happen yet in Detroit for various reasons. We kind of got blocked by the city, but
Is that for like
that's
environmental reasons? Because yeah.
yeah, they're just not familiar with the garment industry, and a dye house sounded scary, and we eventually ran out of money. It's something I'm going to pursue again in the future, but for the same reasons you're saying, that garment dyeing was the unlock, and then when we started garment dyeing, we got killed on cost. But
Yeah.
then you figure out, like I like where your head's at with that. Mix a couple different styles. Basically the cost is going to be the same to run the machine, whether it's full or it's empty. You're going to
Right.
pay the same amount. And there are incremental costs by weight. The more
Yeah.
goods, you have to put more dye in there, but generally you're going to pay the same amount. And so you can plan that into your line from the start rather than at the end trying to make it work. I think it's actually super cool to see if you do some knit hoodies, say, and some pants, like they are going to look different. They're not even going to look
Yeah.
like they're from the same dye lot. And I think that's really cool if you can build that in from the start.
Yeah. And we don't like to be too matchy when we make say like, a black top and a black bottom in the same collection. I like the tonality of like having shades of a color throughout a collection. So we'll see how that goes. We just placed the order for the yeah we're developing. So we have a climbing pant called the Wallace pant, which we haven't made in America yet. Um, and it is turning into like one of the wildest. Uh, it's like I was saying, like this is the first week where everything kind of feels like it's running,
Clicking.
clicking a little bit, just because to say that the learning curve is steep for this kind of work, especially when you're trying to do as much in-house as possible, like particularly pattern making and grading and marker printing and pattern printing. Like I basically had to learn all that myself because and I have Leo who is an expert at paper patterning, but to learn a new program and to learn, to kind of set up the process and the systems so that once we do figure it out, it'll be much more efficient and much more snappy. Like getting all those ducks in a row has taken now like 2 months.
Yeah.
Um, I've taken courses on pattern making. I've taken courses on grading. I've like sat there with a T-square and a ruler and a a tape measure and reference samples and like patterned and repatterned and repatterned and repatterned. And like this was the first week where everything and then like I was saying in the last episode was getting the program to talk to my printer, to talk to my plotter, my large format plotter that I print markers on. I, I lost a week of my life to where I had patterns on my computer and I had a
But you
cable connecting the computer to the plotter and they would not talk to each other properly. And I did not, dude,
and you did end up
I,
going out and buying a PC too, and that didn't help
I
at
went
all.
out and bought a PC, a nice PC. I downloaded all the programs. I downloaded all the drivers. That didn't work.
Uh,
Um, all right, so eventually, you know what's crazy is that I think this information is somewhere on the internet, but it's just not in English. Is the wild
uh,
part? Is like I saw other people speaking Spanish, using these graph tech plotters. I saw people speaking Chinese. Like wherever you find garment
yeah.
manufacturing at a large scale, you can find instructions. But just finding like an
Just not here.
American, we're the only ones doing it, dude. Like there's like
Yeah.
5 of us. So none of those other guys are making YouTube videos on how to do this
Yeah.
shit. So eventually I found that the problem is that and this is all in between, like I'm hitting all these barriers just to be able to go forward and make a garment, like just to get the bare minimum to make a garment. So like, we romanticize the design process so much, like designing like
Yeah.
these little tech drawings of like
Yep.
what you want to make and you color out, like we romanticize that part of it, but the actual logistics of like learning the programs, learning patterning, learning grading, learning what seam allowance goes where, and then throw the added technological barriers of like trying to figure out how to get a Windows-based program on my Mac using a different program that runs Windows on my Mac, and then trying to get the file format that this program puts out to be read by a plotter that's made by
Another
somebody else.
piece of hardware.
And yeah, so long story short, long story long, I eventually found out that the file format that my marker and pattern program was outputting, which was a HPG file, like a Hewlett Packard graphic language file, a .hpg file didn't go into my plotter. The plotter accepted DXF files, but not natively, and like it didn't like them, so it would often like redraw the same piece like over and over again, or like it would overlap pieces, and it's just like driving me crazy. And eventually I found out that the file format that my printer likes is called a PLT file.
Mm.
And the final piece of the puzzle was that an HPG file and a PLT file are the exact same thing. Down
They're
to
literally just the
the
extension.
it's just an extension name. So I can go in and rename my markers that say .hpg. I can rename them .plt. And then I literally went to CVS and bought a flash drive, put the file on the flash drive, put it into the plotter and hit print, and it worked flawlessly. So literally like renaming the file and getting a $10 flash drive solved an issue I was literally going to call Hewlett Packard. I was going to get like a consultant over. I was going to,
Oh man.
like I was going to go through, I was losing my mind. And then finally after a week, I figured out how to get, so now, so I figured that out last week. We printed sample patterns, sampled them, fit them, changed the patterns. So we're on like so we got through 4 rounds of sampling on this shirt that I'm wearing right now, which is just like a
Yeah.
a chambray work shirt.
Looks good.
Um
Those snaps on there too? Or the
no,
buttons?
just they're like
Buttons, okay.
tricolor
Nice. Looks
2-eye
good.
cat eye buttons.
You guys got a 3
Um
needle too, I see.
all triple needle. So
Uh,
the yoke, the arm seam, oh, I'm sweating. The yeah, the all the seams that you can make on a triple needle.
we've struggled to
We
find that for the Aaron Levine brand. We there's very, very limited factories. We had a service jacket that had that, and like nobody else could make it. That's cool that you have that detail. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so it's like essentially a modernized fit version of a old Sears Hercules work shirt, which is basically all triple needle stitched, triple needle chain stitched. So and that took us a while to learn too, is how to run a thinner fabric on our triple needle feller, which is really for like heavy denim. It has like a puller on the back of it that pulls through heavy fabric. And we had a couple like fabric, like the fabric got into the system when running the chambray.
Mm.
So like it took our operator like a little bit of time to learn the touch and like pulling through and making sure nothing got rolled into like the mechanics of the puller. But they figured it out and now they're running them real smooth, and we got the fit dialed and I got the grading dialed and I printed all the markers yesterday.
all all smooth for marker printing. That's the big takeaway here.
All smooth marker printing finally. And then yeah, Leo was cutting this morning and I was I'm still they're sewing them together now. I'm relatively confident, but it's also like the first one that I patterned, I graded, and I'm just terrified because like we ran through whatever
Yeah.
120 yards of Japanese selvage chambray. Yeah, so like this is selvage, like
Oh, cool.
all the button plackets
Yeah.
are have the selvage on the inside.
Have you come up yet where you've cut a bunch of fabric and then you have to make changes once it's cut because something is still wrong?
Not yet.
Oh,
That sounds
that's
terrifying.
always fun.
Oh boy.
That happens with some and it happens regularly. There's always a big gap, but that's always the worst. But you'll figure it out when you get there.
Yeah, we are keeping our bundles together, like with the, with the marker piece on top. So I guess if that ever happened and we
I
needed
just
to like
mean,
trim,
like if you, yeah, say something's wrong with the grading and or in our case, we didn't add shrinkage or we did add shrinkage to something that already had shrinkage applied. And then you have to like take cut pieces and then recut them or like re-envision, hey, we're going to make hoods out of this piece and sleeves out of this piece and then cut more of those. And that'll come up at some point.
yeah. Like luckily, I mean, not luckily because we'd like to be doing more production. We'd like the demand to be higher, but like we're making 60 pieces of these shirts right now, and like I know sometimes I see the operator like they'll be running an armhole and like say like the sleeve cap is like a little too high. They'll just go and they'll just like trim it like
Yeah.
as they're going, and then they'll run the thing. So like obviously that's not efficient. It's not a great thing to do. But the quantities are so low on what we're running right now. It's like not the end of the world to have to fix something like that. But I'm just terrified that that none of it's right, like, and like we're gonna have to scrap all that fabric. Like nothing's gonna fit good. But I mean,
Well,
this thing I've washed and worn this like 3-4 days in a row now, and it is.
holding up.
I'm very I'm like very proud of it. It's like my favorite thing I've ever made, and we we've also gone through 3 samples of our jeans of our selvage denim. And we're very close. I just printed the pattern for what I think is the final sample this morning. So they're gonna run through that sample maybe through the weekend. Uh and then the other thing that's really nice is that once this shirt is settled and once those jeans are settled, then we kind of have a block, then I kind of have
Yeah.
like,
Then you can build off of that.
yeah, then like I already took what like we have another carpenter pant called a Rockport pant. Um, so I basically just took our jeans and like slightly adjusted and like added in some carpenter pockets and a hammer loop and changed it from a scoop pocket to slash pockets and um yeah and like there's no reason that that shouldn't work, you know. So like I printed that pattern this morning too. Um, so like now I kind of feel like I'm rolling and can like I can adjust this to be a new, you know, flannel for winter or whatever. So we're in it and we're doing great. And our sewers, our operators, Leo, our floor manager is just like she's excited. Like things are rolling now and like they get to work and yeah, really nice.
Cool. That
Yeah,
yeah, that's when it gets fun when you're not building blocks, but you've got 3 or 4 and you can take this piece from here and this piece from here. And to
yeah,
me, this is fine to do the you know, the CADs and the quick mock-ups like
yeah,
that lets you see it, but then when you're actually like literally taking this collar and putting it on this one and then you know, taking this sleeve cut and like that's when it gets really fun to
yeah.
really design the garment.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's so funny. Like, it doesn't really feel like it's done until you have the actual pattern made with seam allowance, you know, nailed down.
Yeah.
And then it feels great when the first sample is made, but then it's like, okay, now I got to grade this thing. And that could be, and that could be a little nerve wracking. And then when you're done with that, it's like time for production. And you're like, oh, now I'm like, yeah, I'm scared. I'm nervous. They're going to run,
I'm
they're
sure
running
you'll be
one,
good.
they're running one medium large and extra large just to make sure, even though they cut it all. I mean, but yeah. So I guess we'll see like basically tomorrow if I fucked up 120 yards of very expensive chambray fabric.
Yeah, sure you'll be good.
I think we're all right. I think we're all right.
Yeah, w-
I poured over it, so
yeah, good. We run a TOP of like 2 sizes of every new fabric because our thing is more. We have the patterns dialed in pretty much for
yeah,
what we're making, but every lot has such different shrinkage. We got to make sure we got that right. Make sure all the
yeah,
details are you know communicated across the floor, and just make sure that they are as expected. And so yeah, I would recommend always doing that. I know it's more work to run those couple size
yeah.
TOPs, but
Yeah, we definitely will. We're also putting a like a light enzyme wash on
hmm,
on like a you know like a environmentally friendly like home cellulase enzyme wash so that we could just like go to a laundromat and you know throw 60 shirts into the and just use this biocellulase enzyme wash. And I did it on this one and it like took that top layer of starchy cotton right off and like made it feel like it's, you know, 3 or 4 months old. So,
What
but
can
it,
would you share what that is? I'm curious because I've looked at that stuff and I've found like heavy duty chemicals you can get on Alibaba that's like industrial laundry, but that's not. I don't really want to buy that.
no, yeah, I'll look it up. I'll send it to you. It's like a very, you know, it's a very, home wash style.
Cool.
Um,
That's what I'm looking for.
yeah. And
And my
it's worked really well.
my old business partner in college used to get really heavy into stone washing and enzyme washing at his college house. And the shirts were so cool, but they would fall apart after like 3 washes because they were so enzyme washed. And I haven't found one yet that's in the middle that's just like takes that initial crisp
Yeah.
press off, but still isn't going to deteriorate the cotton.
That will be like I guess like the last part of the puzzle. Like say we get a factory that's ours down the road and we get it all set up just nice. Like having washing in house will be like such a luxury because I like a stone wash like anybody else, but it's just like it's like the same as the garment dyeing, where it's
Yep.
just like it really increases the cost. And I see, dude, do you look at do you look at products now and you see like, okay, this is a 12-ounce denim jacket with a corduroy like, or whatever, and and it has a stone wash on it, and they're selling it for like $90, and like,
All day. My wife's sick of me reverse engineering everything we see.
dude, like I like I guess now seen how the sausage is made, and like I'm like far more connected to the actual manufacturing process, and it's just like dude, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I know they make them in incredible quantities. You know what I saw the other, and I don't have too much more time. I got to run home and get my daughter to jujitsu, but I saw a poly blend t-shirt. I was at the mall for my daughter's birthday, and I saw the crappiest poly blend header t-shirt. I- and I don't mean to shit talk anybody, but like it was a Wrangler shirt. It was like a mass produced Wrangler shirt, but it said, and this really gets on my nerves now. It said Wrangler, and then underneath it said Greensboro, North Carolina,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, if if they're saying Greensboro, North Carolina, maybe this thing is well made, like in America somewhere. Maybe they're like, did I look? It was made in Bangladesh. It was like a $15 shirt. It had screen printing on the front of it, but it wasn't screen printing. It was like a vinyl transfer. It was
Mm,
the
atrocious.
nastiest, bro. It was.
Yeah.
You look at these things now. Like I guess I'm kind of late to the game on this whole, you know, um, product bug that I've got, but it's like
Yeah.
kind of sickening to
Yeah,
consider.
and I'm sure you experience this. Like, I have such a high standard for what we are making, and then I see the stuff that most people are buying, and our stuff, even our crappy stuff, is so much better. But you just get accustomed to only touching nice fabrics and like beautiful stitch work, and then it's hard. I like get in my head about these little specifics, and my wife's like, "Relax, like look at the competition. You're good."
Yeah,
But that's
yeah,
uh
no.
that's that. That's what you're in for the rest of your life. You're never gonna look at clothes the same.
No, never. And but then you do have like a real, but then it's like this shirt is based on that like old Sears Hercules chambray shirt. It's they it's from the 60s. It was made in America. The reference sample that I bought, which was like $400
Oh
on
boy.
eBay. So it's like the most expensive piece of clothing I own, but I just needed to see it. Dude, it was so beautifully made. Like every little detail about this shirt was so beautifully made. And like we just lost that. We just like I feel so,
Yeah.
you know what I feel? I feel robbed. I feel robbed that I wasn't able to see what it was like to live in a society where like, especially coming from New England where the garment manufacturing industry was
It was
so huge.
rich. Yeah.
Yeah, like if I had been born 40 years ago, maybe my mom works in a factory. Maybe my grandmother and my aunt work in a factory. Maybe my grandfather, runs a loom somewhere. It's like, wouldn't that have been so fucking cool to like, you know, see people who actually take pride in making these garments? And yeah,
I get
that's
that
like,
with the car industry. Like my family did all work in car factories, and now that that was like a little behind garments and leaving.
yeah,
But yeah, in Detroit, that's still everybody knows somebody who works at the car companies, and we had that manufacturing. We still have that manufacturing here, but it's kind of the same thing as the garment world where it is slowly leaving. And I also don't care about cars, so it's not as exciting to me. But I hear what you're saying. That would be very cool to
yeah,
be in that world.
yeah. Well, I think we said this on the last, episode. It's just like, what a mistake we made. Like, I understand money is nice. I really get it. People got to pay the rent, and like you kind of have a duty to your employees and your, I guess if you're publicly traded, to your stockholders to like maximize profits. But what a mistake it was to just say, no, we're not going to do any of this work here. It's
Yeah,
all we're sending it all.
I think
Like,
people are starting to realize that though. Trades
yeah,
are coming back, and like I don't know if you feel this way, but I from the reaction I get on the internet from posting videos of our factory, like people think it's cool, and it is cool,
it's
to
really
make
cool.
something with your hands that like I made this shirt 7 years ago, and I love it. It's very gratifying, and I hope more people continue to do that, and I think they will. But
Yeah, and like it's a very like like it's an unfortunate time to be doing it because like it can come off as like some political statement that I'm making to like want to make things in America when in reality like I've wanted to do it forever. It just was not an option. So like it
yeah.
took me 8 years of building a brand to have enough, money around to be able to do it. And it just like
And
coincided.
stability, like it doesn't make sense to do if you don't even know if your brand's going to be around tomorrow. Like
Right.
you're at a place where you can invest in it and really dive deep and build something that's going to last, rather than just like doing it I've seen too many businesses do it to do it, and then they're gone in a year, and now there's a bunch of equipment sitting down the street that, so you did it the right way.
Yeah, like it's also just a thing. I feel like I mentioned this before too. It's just like some people make the brand. Some people want to make stuff here just to like as a marketing tactic. Like like they just want to be able to put up a photo on Instagram and have it say "Made in the USA" with a little American flag on it. They don't actually care about the craftsmanship of the garment. And like the way that I'm kind of like I'm struggling with how to market this stuff, because it's like I almost want the fact that it's made in America or the fact that it's made in-house, like I kind of want that to be the last bit of information that you get about the product. Like I want the product to speak for itself, and like
Yeah.
I want it to be a great product that people want. And then they're like, oh, this is also happens to be made like locally. That's
Yep.
fantastic. I don't want it to be like somebody's buying it because it's made in America. I want them to buy it because it's a fantastic product. And then, oh, it's made in America, even better.
Yeah.
Whereas
And
a lot of
you do a good job of that. You don't lead with that. And I think
yeah,
we both can picture or think, I mean, I'm not going to, I hate to call them out, but I'm going to call them out. They're big enough. They're not going to get their feelings hurt. That brand Origin, like they built a strong business, but they lead with like, we're American made for the sake of American made. And like,
right,
we get, that's why we're better. And I'm with you. Like, don't lead with that. Let that be an added Easter egg.
right. Like, I don't actually care. I don't know. I care where it's made a little bit, but like, I also like, I just want it to be a fantastic, like I care about it being a fantastic product
Yep.
first.
And you can
And
best accomplish that by doing it yourself locally.
that's why we do it here, is because like you were saying, like in making, trying to make to get a triple needle stitch on something, we're doing we're retooling our 207 jeans, which you have.
Yeah.
If I had asked the factory to make the rise and the inseam and the yoke a triple needle stitch like we're doing now, they would have laughed at me. They would have just said, no, you
Yeah.
cannot do that. Like it wouldn't even have been like, name your price. Like, what would it take? It would have just been a flat out no, because they don't want to
Yeah.
have to add a new needle, run a new thread into the machine, and retool their production just for my 100 pieces that they're going to make for me, So like that's why I'm doing it in-house, is because now I'm running triple needle on fucking everything we make now.
That's
Like,
cool.
because why
Then
not?
I'm gonna come to you one day and ask for a double needle construction. You're gonna laugh at me.
Yeah, right.
I'm not taking that needle out.
I'm not taking. So I have two fellers.
Ah.
I actually accidentally bought the first feller that's only a double needle, and it doesn't have the puller for like the really heavyweight fabric, which is what I wanted. So I ended up having to buy the other one, and before I like sold the double needle, we used it to make our baggies, our
Hmm.
like our nylon shorts, and it works perfect with like a
Hmm.
lighter material like that. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going to keep both, and that way I don't need to switch back and forth. So now I have a double needle for lighter fabrics, or for if I ever need to, just a double needle, and then I have a triple needle for all of
For
our
everything
workwear.
else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for if it's workwear, why wouldn't you make it with 3 needles? It just like
Yeah.
it makes it more durable. Why wouldn't you do that?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Cool. Well, hey, I don't want to keep you if you got to pick up your daughter. But,
yeah.
good catching up.
I only wanted to do this podcast because like nobody just gets on here and talks shop, like talks like super esoteric, like
Nitty gritty.
there's fucking 10 people who are going to care about this like a lot. But then there are going to be other people who like love your brand or love my brand, who are going to find it and be like, oh wow, this is like, they're not fucking around. Like they're in it. They're really living that life. So like it's
Yeah. Well, sounds good. Good catching up with you.
all right,
Look
Josh.
forward to the next convo. Keep
Yeah,
keep that plotter running.
it's going to be running high. I just went and bought it. It's like an attachment that holds a Sharpie. And I just went and I bought like 10 more Sharpies, because I keep forgetting to take them out and put the cap on. So I
And they're
go
just
through it.
you're burning through them.
I'm burning through Sharpies. I'm going to put a sign up that says, don't forget to cap the Sharpie.
There we go. There's our episode title.
Don't
we
forget
got
yeah,
come
that's a
home
good
and
title.
come home, Johnny, and don't forget to cap the Sharpie. You're full of
Come
one-liners.
home. Come home, Johnny.
Is he home yet?
No, I text him every day. I just say, come home, please come home.
All right, good chatting with you. I'll talk to you soon. Oh, hey,
right,
we got our jack buttonhole machine in today. I got to build that thing, but I can't wait. And now we need a button tacker for a client, so I'm gonna hit you up about that.
I'm very jealous about that. I have had I bought a bar tacker. They said it could do a certain length stitch, and they were wrong. It cannot do that length stitch. And they have not gotten back to me about returning it, of course. It's been like literally like 5 weeks, and I have not heard. I've emailed, whatever. It sucks. But I ordered a jack, like a programmable bar tack machine, and it gets here tomorrow, and I'm very
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Keep me posted on the other one. I'm actually in the market for a second bar tacker. I don't know what you got it for, but let me know.
Do you need it to have like a certain length on it?
I think we do 3/8 of an inch. Like we run one bar tack always on everything.
How many millimeter? I needed it to do 16 millimeter. It can only do 10 millimeter. So if 10 millimeter is what you need, you let me know. I'll give it to you for half price.
That's 0.4 inches. Yeah, I think that's probably. Let's talk. We can text the machine details later.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Later, bro.